Hello, everybody. Let's see. Let me know if you're here. This is my first time streaming since I upgraded my operating system. And I think some things might not totally be working. My little background music thing isn't working. That's odd. Yes, please give me a shout in the chat if you are here. Oh, I know what's going on here. When I upgraded to Catalina this week, they changed the name of iTunes to music, and that kind of messes with my my setup here. Let's see if this works. No. Ah, okay. I think I know how to fix this. Gotta get some background music for you all. There we go. Music is piping in. Now I'm gonna double check, since I don't have anyone in the chat, double check that I'm actually streaming. It should show up on my Twitter if I am. Yep, looks like Twitter's going. Oh, weird. We can have like stream inception here. Sweet. Okay. Well, it's just that nobody. Nice. This is, I think, going to be pretty fun. So you're missing out, all you people that aren't watching. But let's get started. So first things first, this week, what do we have? We once again have Kieran Ichiban. Happy Friday. Hope you're not watching this because no one's watching this, but later, if someone on a video is watching this, happy whatever day it is to you. Nice cold. Okay, so this week we're gonna try and automate Umail. That's this app right here, Umail. I talked all about it last week, so I'm not gonna talk about it again. We're gonna get right to it. Last week ran into a problem where I was unable to actually run a test on my real iOS device. This is because I didn't have an Xcode version that was late enough to automate my iOS phone, and I also didn't have an operating system that was recent enough to upgrade to that version of Xcode. So I had to upgrade my operating system to Catalina, which broke a bunch of stuff. I had to fix it, but ultimately I was able to get the new version of Xcode. I was able to get WebDriver Agent building and running on my phone. And I know that we spend a lot of time in these streams just waiting for Appium to do stuff, and in the past it's been really painful to try and compile WebDriver Agent in the middle of a stream because it just takes forever, and while I'm streaming, I really don't have a lot of CPU to spare. So what I did is I went ahead and built WebDriver Agent on my own. In fact, I forked it to my own company's account, and I built it ahead of time, and I changed the bundle IDs and everything so that it would launch on my phone. And now I have that built. And where Xcode puts things that you build are in these is in this place called the derived data folder. So let's see. The derived data folder. Yeah, it's in your library. So if I just head to my library, I think it's a developer, Xcode, derived data. This is where Xcode puts all the binaries that you build when you build projects. So I just opened up WebDriver agent, and it's right here. So if I don't know why there's another one there, I think I might have accidentally made that one up. But if I go in here, there's a build directory. This is where WebDriver agent is built. So what I can do now, instead of just using all of the default Appium capabilities, I can use these capabilities here. Use pre-built WDA. I set that to true to tell Appium not to build its own WebDriver agent, but to use a pre-built one. And then I pass it the derived data path for this particular build of WebDriver agent. So you can see this is the long path for it on my system. So with this, I'm actually able to start an automation session pretty quickly. So let's just open that up in Appium Desktop right now, and I've got QuickTime here showing you what's happening on the phone. Here's the UML app all launched, and here it is in Appium Desktop. I can theoretically play around with these different elements now. Okay, so that's great. That proves that we can actually launch UML with Appium. So what I'm going to do next is port these changes to our code project. So this would be in conf-test.py, where we have our UML iOS capabilities. I'm going to get rid of all of this WebDriver agent building and signing stuff because I no longer need it. Instead, I'm going to use presbuilt. It's like use pre-built WDA, Python true, and derive data path. And this is set to this right here. Oh, it's gonna be a long day if I'm forgetting that colon should be, the comma should be colons there. So there's my capabilities. So if we go back to our test here, before we just tried to leave a voicemail, which technically can happen at any point. We don't really need to worry about that. So that can still stay first, and then we let's go ahead and create our driver first, actually, and then we'll leave a voicemail, which we demoed last week, and then let's just print out the page source, because at that point we'll be able to use Appium Desktop to figure out our voicemail. What should our message say in the voicemail? Maybe hello everyone. Let's just keep it really short and simple because I don't want there to be lots of problems with transcription of a robot voice leading to inconsistencies across the test. It doesn't really matter for this purpose. So let's try and run that. I do have Appium running here, just so you know. That's why we were able to use Appium Desktop there as well. So PyTest, and it's testumail.py, isn't it? Let's give that a go and see what happens. Well, something broke. We got an error app with bundle identifier. Oh, that's not the right bundle identifier for umail. So let's go back to conf test. What bundle ID am I using here? This is the same one that I'm using. RH8QQ5UXC8. Oh, maybe I'm selecting the wrong device at the moment. I'm just going to go ahead and use my actual UDID instead of auto to make sure that we are selecting my phone and not like a simulator or something like that. Let's see what happens. There we go. So we've got UMail loaded, and now we're using Twilio to trigger a call to my phone. There we go. Now, in our test, the leave voicemail method is synchronous, and it only completes at the end of leaving a voicemail. So we don't actually have control over Appium while the voicemail is being left. We could do that with some asynchronous programming in Python, but because things work just fine, even though we don't hit the decline button ourselves, even if we just let it go to voicemail. Oh, sweet. There we go. It worked. And we did print out the page source. We didn't see it here. So now I'm actually going to launch a session with Appium Desktop again so we can see if we can verify that thing in our inbox. Oh, it's it told us we had a voicemail. That's odd. This seems like an application issue. So we'll go over here. Yeah, somebody left a voicemail. But it's not here. So I don't know. Maybe UMail servers are a little slow at the moment. Blocked, maybe? Maybe try and go here. Done. No, we don't have any blocked calls, so that's not why. Oh. So yeah, so UMail is saying that there's no messages, even though it's clear that we have a message, unless I'm using the app incorrectly, but it's here. So, I mean, I guess that's one thing we could do, is we could just find the most recent thing in the history. Oh, well, here it showed up in the inbox. I think it just took a little while. Not sure if we'll want to write a test that waits that long. Hopefully it doesn't usually take that long. But anyway, let's take a look at our source here. And sorry, I know Appium Desktop's UI is a little small. There we go. But what do we have here? We have an element that has an accessibility ID. And it says voicemail message from and blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty nice that it gives us an accessibility ID. It also has a value, which is the string that we're looking for. So that's also a good way to search for this, because we know that that string is going to be unique, or at least we can make sure that it's unique. We could maybe add a unique number or something like that. Cool. So let's make our page object model. I think we already have one for UMail. Oh, nothing's actually in there yet. Let me just copy a random one from Twitter so we can create one. So umail, this is the voicemails page. I think it's the list of voicemails. And let's call it ym voicemails page, like this. So what do we want to do on this page? We can, for example, open voicemail, and we can pass in a parameter of the text that we want to find. And what we're going to do is try and find the element whose value contains that text, right? So basically, and we're going to click it. So we can say self.driver.find element, and we're going to use XPath, and we're going to try and find, what type of element is this? It's a type cell. So all the cell elements, yep, whose value contains the string that we sent in. And this should be a format string. And then we'll click that. So that opens that particular voicemail. So let's do that. If I open this, then where do we get to now? This is a new page. This is called the, we can call this the voicemail page. And all we want to assert here is basically that the text is correct, and then maybe we want to delete something as well. Oh, we've got something on top of this whole thing. It's probably like this ad, maybe, I don't know. Let's see. This looks like the main body section. And there's our top navigation bar. That's our oh, here's the toolbar. So what's in the toolbar? Aha. Here's where we can delete the message. So it has an accessibility ID of delete message. Let's go ahead and start building out our page object for this one. We're going to use mobile accessibility ID. There we go. And we'll call this the voicemail page, singular. And we're going to have the delete message, which is a combination of mobile accessibility ID and then the string delete message. So we can just have how do we find things again? I think it's self.wait for, right. Okay, and the other thing we want to do on this page is verify the text is correct. So let's get back to that here. Let's see where the text is at. Looks like it's in that element. And it looks like it's the only static text, and it has value there. So I think if we just find a static text that has that text, I think that's fine. So we could add a method here called, get voicemail text, and it returns a string. So we want to return, maybe we just return that Well, it's not the only static text, is it? But it is the only static text, which is a sibling of this one, machine transcribed want more accurate transcriptions. So if we find the XCUI element type static text, which is next to this one, should be fine. That seems like a pretty solid way of getting at it. So I feel like we did that type of XPath before. Cool. Yeah, so what we can do is we can say that the voicemail text has an XPath selector where we want to first find element type button whose accessibility, and in this case, it'll be label, whose label is this. And we want a sibling who is an XUI element type static text. It's quite a long one, but there we go. And so what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the M text and then just return its text. Okay, so this is a voicemail page. We want to, for sure, add these pages to our list of pages here. Pages.umail.voicemail page, import voicemail page. And the same, except for we want an S here and an S there. Email. So now if we go back to our voicemails page, we can also import voicemail page, and that's what this is going to return. And we actually want to, let's do a wait for here instead. Okay, so assuming we can actually then, I'm just gonna delete this one. And it goes back here. So delete actually goes back to the main page. So I think that's actually a really nice little test that we can start writing. So voicemails page equals ym voicemails page dot init. Driver. So now we have our voicemails page. So what we can do is we can just what can we do on this? We can open the voicemail. And the string that we want is the same as message. And remember, we're doing a contained search. So as long as the message is contained in the voicemail, we'll open it up. So then we want to get the text. Actually, this takes us to the voicemail page. And then the voicemail text should be something that we get voicemail text like this. And then we can assert that message is in voicemail text. Then we can say we'll delete the message, and then that gets us back to the voicemails page. And what do we want to do to assert that there's no voicemails? Well, we can add a little helper to our voicemails page here. Let's see if we can actually just get the number of voicemails in the list. That could be interesting. Although I don't know if I can. I guess we could look for this thing that says no messages yet. Accessibility ID, no messages yet. So we can create a Boolean here. And let's see, what we want to do is figure out what the accessibility ID is. Oh, it was called no messages yet, wasn't it? So mobile by.accessibility ID, and it was no messages yet. That. Okay. How long do we want to wait? Not very long, really. What's our default wait in our base page? We also have short wait. I think we just do a short wait here. Although we don't have a short wait for. Oh, it's not called wait for, it's called wait. Right. Okay, I've been using this method incorrectly all this time. So basically, if we find the no messages, then we return false because we don't have any messages. And otherwise, we return true because that message isn't shown. Undefined name, no messages. That's because I need to put a self in front of it. And it doesn't like how I'm... You don't need the exception thing there. Oh, and our Appium WebDriver.common.mobile by is what that import is called. There we go. And then let's fix our usage on voicemails page of wait for, I think it's just self. Wait. There we go. So now we can go back to our test. And we can say assert that voicemail page has, I think I thought, are we not getting the return value from here? Oh, it's because I need voicemails page, not voicemail page. And that we want to assert has messages. So assert that it doesn't have any messages, and then we're done with our test. Okay, let's give this a go, see if it works. So the flow that we're trying to implement here is generate a phone call using Twilio, leave a voicemail, find the voicemail on the UMail voicemails page, navigate to the voicemail page itself, assert the text, then delete the voicemail. Now, it did take a while for that voicemail to show up after we left it, so we'll probably want to use a long wait instead of a short wait. Maybe even up to a 60-second wait. So, oh yeah, and this is also not wait for. Since this test really assumes that there are no messages to begin with, we should probably also put that in the test so that, like, for example, oh, we're not testing Twitter. So if, for example, I get an actual voicemail from somebody else with the similar text and it's sitting there, we don't want this to cause problems. So what we can first do is make an assertion here, assert that there's no messages to begin with, then we leave a voicemail, then we open it, and that should be good. Let's give that a whirl. See what errors I may. Oh, I didn't shut down my. There we go. Well, we already had a problem. YM voicemails page has no attribute init. Oh, I think it's because it's actually called instance, not init. I'm just trying, yeah. That's gonna give me problems here too. It's not init, instance. And it's not isn't-ince, it's instance. Gotta love English. Oh, still couldn't find module pages, has no attribute. YM voicemails page iOS, ah. That's because we are on iOS. And when we're on iOS, we actually need to name the thing iOS. Because I chose Android to be the default here. So we'll need a do that kind of dance. Do the same thing here. There we go. Yeah, I forgot because I've mostly been automating Android, so I forgot that Android was the default, and I need to actually specify in my page object if I want an iOS. Okay, we didn't fail immediately. I think that means that the Twilio call is on its way. Just gonna find that to give the voicemail time to get there sooner. That's odd. Here I am. Why that happened. Wonder if a minute is going to be enough time for... okay, there it is. We got it. Now let's see if it shows up in our inbox. It really should. But it's not. It's just taking its sweet, sweet time. So this is not an issue with the test. This is just an issue with email, apparently. Yeah, we timed out. It's odd. Yeah, so how are we going to handle this? If it actually just takes this long, but yet it doesn't take this long from here. So that's another alternative. I don't remember it actually taking this long when I've used it before. We might actually have encountered a real bug in this view, because clearly it's and if I open it up here, then all of a sudden here it is. I think this is actually a bug, but let's pretend that it's not a bug and go back to our test. And if we just basically comment out the assertion that we have no messages and the attempt to leave a message, we should be able to see it kind of pick up from where it left off. So let's see how that works. There's our inbox. Will we find that text? Could be that the XPath search is taking a while. Could be that I did the search incorrectly. It's looking increasingly like it. What are we looking for exactly? We are looking for the XCUI element type cell whose value contains... Oh, I didn't even pass in... Oh no, I did pass in the message. So, let's check out what the Appium server is doing. Invalid selector. Oh, I know why. Because I actually need to put strings around this because it's XPath, and that is not just a literal value there. Let's try this again. Feeling much more optimistic this time around. There we go. Make an assertion on that text, maybe. Maybe delete. No. Failure. Timeout exception. What were we looking for? We were looking for the voicemail text. So that was my other XPath experiment. Possible... Is it similar? Let's try this in Appium Desktop and see. Let's try this search here. Yeah, so that search isn't right. Let's try and make it better. So let's just make sure we can find this but first. No, we can't find that button. Was this not actually a... This was in here somewhere. Yeah, let's search for it by name instead. What? No, it can't find that. XCUI element type button. Machine transcribed. Want more accurate transcriptions. Let's try contains. Maybe there's some like non-standard Unicode character, something like that. No. Interesting. What if I just copy this from Appium Desktop and hope that I'm not making a typo? No. I can't find it. That's very odd. Huh. Well, that is its name. So let's try accessibility ID. Like this. Nope. Let's just look for all of the buttons. There's 9 buttons. That's all in the top part there. Okay, so it's this one. It's the 4th button, but I haven't seen this before with just look and see if we can find something that contains that string in it. Okay, there it is. So now let's see if we can find the sibling, which is the XUI element type static text. Nope. Is sibling... Maybe it should be preceding sibling. There it is. That's what we want. So we needed to change this to contains and just put accurate in there, and we needed to change this to preceding sibling. Let's give that a go. I bet there's a new line in that button. I bet that's the issue. Are we gonna find it? Nope. Still couldn't find it. XUI element type button contains... Oh, now I have a little error there. Forgot a closing parenthesis. Boom. Success. Okay, awesome. I think that's a good place to wrap up today. So let's do a little review. If we look at our test file, basically what we're doing, assuming that the app speeds up its ability to push voicemail to that page, we are defining a message that we want to leave. We're starting a session on Umail. We are creating a new instance of our Umail voicemails page, because that represents where we're at in the app. We're asserting that we're starting without any messages there, because if there are some, that might mess up our test. So better to fail here rather than after we make another phone call and make the situation even messier. Then we're using the Twilio API to leave a voicemail on my phone. We're having it take our text and speak it out using text-to-speech, so it sounds like a synthesized text, synthesized voice. That voicemail gets left, then we poll the voicemails page for the voicemail that has some kind of text that we left. We get to the voicemail page, we get the text, the full text that's displayed. We assert that the message that we actually left is in that text. Then we delete the voicemail, clean things out. That brings us back to the voicemails page, and we assert then that we don't have any more messages. So this is, I think, a really great end-to-end test involving not just Appium, but the phone system, and involving automating an app that uses the phone system to work. So if I was actually a Umail developer, there would no doubt be much better tools for, generating state in my application for testing purposes. But I think it's good that there might be, at least one test kind of like this, where you actually test everything, including the phone lines. Can give you a good idea of whether it's all working. So that's it for today's Automation Happy Hour. Thank you for joining or watching after the fact. And we'll be back on soon. Hope you have a great weekend and a great Juneteenth. All right. Cheers, everyone. Bye.